Okay, we're live and it's Memorex time. Okay. Alrighty, let's do a little bit of adjustment here. We're going to assemble the bottom of the seat first. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll do the back. And so I got Chris here with me. I had to go pick him up earlier, and since the seats are out of his car, he didn't have a car to drive. So I had to go pick him up, and then we were starving, so we had to eat. So sorry we're running a little bit behind schedule, but here it is, and we're here, and we're going to go with this now. So, like I was saying earlier, this whole kit comes with everything you need to do this with. It comes with, all the new seat covers. It comes with foam inserts that you need to put in to help bolster the seats because they're 30 years old and all the foam in them is kind of squashed. It comes with extra cotton to use to help round out the seat and fill it out and make it look really good. It comes with hog ring pliers. It comes with hog rings. It comes with razor blades. It comes with both written and video instructions. It comes with everything. It is a very complete kit, and it's very nice to work with. I'm very happy that we got this kit from Mr. Mike's. I'm blown away with it. Especially with, like I said, it comes complete. You don't have to have anything. The extra tools you see me have in here are just impact wrenches that I had to take everything apart. I don't need them for the assembly. And I have a pair of dikes. You need that. That's really about it. So anyhow, we're going to get right on putting this one together. As you can tell, I talked to you earlier, if you were watching the preview, about how we swapped sides, putting the passenger side bottom onto the driver's side and vice versa. So I've already gone over that. If you want to learn more about that, just go watch the video. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put the pads in this bottom. We have these three pieces. They go in here, and you got to glue those down. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And like I said, it even comes with a can of spray adhesive. So you can't falter Mike for not giving you every product that you need to make your job a successful job. So we're gone. Now, we may not be talking to you, we may just be talking to each other, but basically we're just going to be going through with this thing. I need to get this thing done because I'm really tired. I've been working on this car for over a week. So we're going. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I like the spray a whole lot better than Super 77. It does seem to, it grabs right now. It grabs really good. With Super 77, though, you're supposed to wait. This stuff, it grabs. It's gone. Now, like he says in his video, you want to, when you put these in, you want to leave it so you can see the wires down inside there. The nice thing is, it doesn't dry instantaneously. I can peel it off, get it straightened up if I had it crooked. Take care of that. Hold that up right. I haven't had to hold this before, but on this edge, it's making a pretty sharp turn. So I just want to make sure it stays. So you know, there's all that. Now, the one thing is on the bottom of the seats, you're going to find where he has these gray things, and these have wires in them. These wires are going to get hog-ringed down to wires that are in the seat. If you watch his video, he's got that all told to you about how to make that work. I'm not going to go into that. I'm just going to let you see me put it all together. These other ones here, get these. And I will tell you, putting that wire in this is the hardest part of the whole job. I learned that earlier. Now, the biggest thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you have this thing set up so you are in the middle. You want to use the edges here, and when you pull it down, make sure that they are in the center, okay? Because hog ringing this is going to hold it where you have put it. So Christopher is loading the hog ring for me. These are difficult down in here because you really got to reach down low, and you want to make sure that you are hooked in those wires underneath, which are, it's not easy to get to. I mean, you got to muscle it. You know, you got to get physical. Again, you want to make sure, look at this again. You know, I got one in there. I can make little adjustments on it to make sure I got it where I want it. Got it where I want it. So I'm going to stick these in. What I'm doing, when you see me pull this out, I'm trying to get to the wire, and I'm going to put the hog ring through that wire that's on this new seat cushion first, and then reach down to the bottom and grab that other piece. Pulling them together, got those two wires, and you're pulling them together. That's the whole idea of this thing. This is the way all seats work. When I spent many years with Porsche and with Audi, and with European cars, technicians who do European cars are required to do everything. You don't have a guy who's an interior specialist. You have to do it all. So, you know, I knew how to do hog rings. I haven't done this since 2002, I think. So, it's been a while. But you got to muscle this stuff, is what you got to do with it. So now we got the first one in the back on the bottom. This one's going in the middle here. This one's a little easier to get in there. Do that in questions while we're going, or statements. Go right ahead. Again, you got to check it as you're going. Make sure you are going in the middle, because once you put this together, you don't want to have to take it back apart again. It's not fun, especially after you've done all this work hog ringing it in. So, ow. And hog rings are sharp. They will cut the crap out of you. So be careful, because nobody wants to bleed on their brand new interior. Again, pull it. Make sure it's hooked. Christopher is doing a great job of putting these hog rings in and not getting cut. Because these things, I've already cut myself twice. I pretty much know what I'm doing. I think one of them. All right. Okay, so we have this middle section is all down, got the hoggeries all across the back. So at this point, what we got to do, we got to fish these wires through these pockets, the gray pockets that are on the side, and there are holes back in the back they got to go into. And I'm not kidding you. This was the hardest part. I did one earlier today. I'll show you the finished one. I did one, and it was by far the hardest part that I had to do. Now watch this go real easy now, now that I've told you all this. So, and yes, they're supposed to be bent, and yes, that does make it more difficult. What happens is it wants to kink back in here. So you got to get back here, get your hands in here, get a hold of it, get it straight, and watch what you're doing, because you know these things are they're not sharp, but you're pushing on them and you're kind of drilling them through. It will put a hole in this fabric. The fabric's not, you know, it's not Kevlar. It will put a hole in it. So the whole idea is you have got to watch it, work it slowly, and get it in there, and it will come out the back. I have to tell you that right there just took me a fraction of the amount of time it took me on the first ones. Those first ones, oh God, I don't even want, I'm glad I didn't film it. It was just that bad. It just took me an hour. I probably had 45 minutes to an hour just doing those. Now, you gotta stick your finger down here in the very back corner down at the bottom. That's the hole that these rods have to go into. So you gotta make sure that rod gets in that hole. Grab a hold of it, pull up on it, make sure. You're gonna look up front here, you're gonna see where it used to sit, okay? Make sure it's in that same area, because you don't want this rod coming, because this rod is what's replacing putting a whole bunch of hog rings down the side, okay? So if you look at it as that, you don't want this thing, if you have the one come loose, the whole side's gone. So you got to make sure it's in there. There it goes. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. No, I put them both in before I hog ringed it. Yeah, just because I wanted to be able to have the flexibility. Okay. So again, we're doing this other side. Again, here we go. We're down and you get it a little over halfway, and everything starts bunching up. So now you got to reach down in here. You got to start getting it straight. You got to work with it. You do not want a hole. Okay. So when you do the second one, it'll be much easier than the first, because this was way easier now that I've learned my lesson on the first one. So again, I'm down in here. See the hole up there? Yeah, way up front there. So again, you got to get down in here, and you got to guide this thing into the hole. And again, you'll see where this was at previously, and you'll know you got it. So now, I got those in there. You want to pull up on this, pull up on the tuff here to get that fabric tube that the metal's going through. You want to get it as straight as possible. So, hold of it, pull up on this. All is good. Okay, give me a hug when you're ready. All right. So now, there are, you'll see that there's a couple of different, good, flash and pull it down in here, from this side over here. You want to be able to grab a hold of, there's a wire under there. Aha. Now, with as many miles as these seats on, what if another one? With as many miles as these seats have on them, quite honestly, the wire underlayment isn't perfect. But, you know, it's what you got to work with. Once you get it down and then you pull the rest of the seat around, it's going to be just absolutely fine. Okay, you want the flashlight in here? All right, so I got them on the end, and I'm going to go ahead and put one about 1.5 inches back. There is a large wire that's in the seat, so I'm going to go ahead and put one around that also, simply because of the way it is coming up. So you reach down back in the back there. You know, you take the hog ring plier, and you just kind of like feel it and you get underneath of it, and then you watch over the top, and when you get it hooked over the top one, you squeeze them together. And you do kind of got to watch it, because I guarantee you, you will mess a few. And that's just the nature of the beast. All right, so that's all down. All right, now at this point, we're going to end up bringing this over, turning the seat now right side out, and let it come all the way around. So we're going to kind of push in on here, because this section up here is quite a bit smaller than this area here. So the whole idea is to try to get it small and stuff it in so you don't tear the threads. All right, now on the back side here, this is a little tricky, because once you've done the front, the back becomes even more tight. If you were to do it the other way, it would just make the front more difficult. So I just decided to do it this way. So again, what we're going to do is we're actually going to, you gotta hold that down for me? We're actually going to grab the corner, and I'm going to push together with it, hold it together, while we roll it over the back. Okay. Hold on, push down on the back side. Guarantee you will find muscles you have forgotten you've had. My arms are still really sore after doing the other one already this morning. But again, it's all a matter of, you know, this is basically skin on here, and you want to stretch this skin and pull it so it goes in all the right directions that you want it to go. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do this bottom and this front piece. This front piece is going to be difficult. I don't want the little one. This, when I took these apart, I took a pen and I marked where the hog ring pliers went through the seat bottom, because there are actually small little holes that you have to get the hog rings back in. So I marked them with the pen so I could actually find them again, which I'm so glad I did. So again, what we're going to end up doing here is we are going to be grabbing a hold of this, and you're going to get very physical with this. Now, when you get it to where it's about where you want it, you're going to make sure that the only thing you see out the top here is this welt, which is the dark colored round piece on here. All right? So what the whole idea is now is you're going to be able to get it, you're going to hold it where it goes, put the hog ring around the welt, so I'm doing the middles first, basically because once you get them done, the other ones are much easier. Again, you gotta find the hole. The hog ring will easily go through the material. Like I said, they are sharp. Oh, see, that one I messed up on. All right, give me another one, please. Okay, another one. that one too. Just as I was getting it on there, it slipped off. But he gives you about 3 times more hog range than you need. So you got plenty of hog range. All right. The hog ring pliers that he gives you are also, they're spring loaded. So once you get the hog ring in there, it stays. It doesn't come out, and that makes it relax. I didn't have one that nice when I was working on this for a living. Mine did not do that. You had to actually fold it. So another thing, you don't need to kill the hog ring plier. Don't put all your might into squeezing it closed. Squeeze it. It's going to have a lot of pounds pulling out on it. So just squeeze it good, get it in there, make sure it's good solid grab, walk away. Okay, so now this is really close to done. But what you'll notice is it still has a little bit of list to it, stuff like that. And it's a little bit loose. Again, this seat bottom is over 30 years old. Your car, if you're doing a different kind of car, you may not have this problem. But if you got a Fiero, you probably are. So, it's at this point here where I start using some of the cotton batten that he sends. And what I'm trying to do is fill it out so it looks nice. The whole idea. And it's cotton. When it gets all in there, it's just going to be soft. You don't have to worry about it. So you can see when I pull this up to where it's going to be locking down, it's going to look pretty good except for a little bit through here. So you take a little bit and you put it in. Since you've left the sides loose, you can get your hands in here and you can work this cotton batting, I don't know what they call it, the cotton stuff in there to where it is going to fill right. And then the nice thing is you can go through and rub it out and you end up making it a really nice, smooth transfer. These are all of them coming out perfect. Yeah, another thing is making sure that the seam on the inside in here, you want them all going away from your body. So here you want them going down. Back here you want them going down. On the seat you want them going around to the back. Okay? So the way you do that is you can kind of feel them and you can grab them with your fingers and you can work them out. But and on his video, if you watch his video, he really talks a lot about that. The video was made quite a few years ago, and I think he's gotten far better at doing interesting things with the stitching to make it sit right, because they're already in the right position. They really don't need anything. So again, I'm filling this out. It's just cotton. one thing you want to be careful of. When you're doing this down the side here, you got these screw holes here. Remember, we left these screws in to mark where your holes got to go. But you don't want to cut those holes out until after you pull it all tight. But what you want to do is you want to make sure you don't put a whole bunch of cotton material down in here, because it'll be in the way of the seat going back together properly. Alright, now see, when I pull this tight, and I put this where it belongs, that whole bolster comes in like it's supposed to. Now what will happen is I know it's still got some wrinkles in it, but what happens is over a couple of weeks sitting in your car, getting hot, the windows up, it'll all change, I've been told. Alright, so I got this side all done. You can pull these over. That's gonna work out nice. Okay, so here we go. This. Okay. So again, the whole trick is pulling this, getting it set where you want it to go, having a wonderful hog ring helper. Get it through the hole, pull it in. Around in here and you'll feel where these rings are supposed to go. If you can't feel, get something, scratch it up. You'll see where it's supposed to go. There'll be a hole in there, especially like if you've gone through and you mark where the old ones were. In there, believe it or not, it's actually in there. Now we're going to, this side has a little more issue. So I'm going to actually push some cotton all the way out on the top here to kind of bolster it. But remember, this is also going to go against the console, so it's going to get some push up in it. So I don't need to do a lot, I just need to do a little. And again, we're just going to up, reach it over. You know, you should push it about like that. Now, it's not quite as high as this, and that's fine, because like I said, when it goes in the car, it's going to get squeezed a little bit, because it goes, in the Fieros, it goes completely up against that center console. It rubs against there. So that's all full. Still got this through here. We're going to put a little bit in here, but first off, we're going to pull it to where it needs to go to, and that'll give us an idea as to how much we need to play with this. Not a whole lot. All right, give me that. Up in there? Yeah, I guess so. No, I don't know. When we pull this. Okay. So we're going to go around the back side here. Going to fill this little valley in here a little bit. And then when you get it, rub it. Rub what you just put in. That'll help flatten it out. Because if you put it in with a sharp edge, you will see a sharp edge. So what does it do? Okay. Alright. Hog ring helper is a must-have. I have just decided that. I've never had one before. And if I ever do that again, I will have one. Like the beer girl, you gotta have one. Even though I don't drink beer. But I understand the necessity. So again, the whole idea is we're trying to get it all pulled so it all looks nice and straight. You want to pull it all clean. I'm sorry if you guys are asking questions and I can't answer. I don't have my computer out here. I'm just doing this off my phone. My phone up on a tripod, and so I will try to look through any questions later on and give you written answers to them as best I can. So I do apologize for that. Okay. All right. Now again, this is all going to change as time goes on. And you know, these wrinkles should work their way out. Again, it's been many years, so we'll see how this all goes. Alright, so what we have here now is we have to cut the holes where these screws are. Give me a new one. Trust me, I've done used that one up. This is one of the fabulous razor blades supplied to us by Mr. Mike and his kit.
Not that I don't like 100% on my head blade, but you know.
Yeah, you start messing around with old cars, you end up collecting razor blades because you use them for everything. Chris, you want to go over to that table next to us and get me one of those rods for the back seat, for the back of the top of it? Alright, remember I was telling you about watching out for the cotton, getting it over where you got to put these bolts through. Well, your car came complete with a toolkit to fix that. You grab the rod from the back that you haven't done yet, that to work around the hole. Push it out of the way.
On the back, and down.
So, also let me tell you that see me working out here with an open razor blade, you will get far more hurt, far more easily with a old dull razor blade than you will with a new one if you're being at all reasonable. So, always make sure your blade is sharp, because then you start fighting it, it just ain't worth it. So then, when you get the one side done, you go to the other side. This is the side that had the speed nut on it, the clip nut that you put over on this side. And that hole is a big hole. That's very easy to find. You got to cut around it too. Now, you may or may not have to cut around the holes where the bolts go through that hold the rails on. And I say may or may not because I have seen them done where they didn't have to, and I've seen them done where they did. So, in this seat and the other one I did, I had to cut around both of them. So, that's the way it goes. So that's what I'm cutting out here. I am just exposing the holes that the bolts go in. Where the rails go. Start cleaning some of this trash and put the back on here. I don't want to mess it up. Okay, where's the hole? There it is. Hey, I grabbed what I had as a pad. He would prefer I use one of Mom's towels and then, you know, get in trouble for that. I found a piece of scrap stuff that we had here at the shop and threw it down. It was clean. Okay, so those are all cleaned up. So here, we have a finished bottom. Go out of the way. Now we grab the back. And before we get on this, I'm gonna go take a drink real quick. I gotta get a drink. Talk to them about the instructions and show them the DVD and stuff.
So, turn this fan off so that'll make it easier. There we go. Turn off the Hurricane so I can actually show you this. This is the written directions that comes with all of Mr. Mike's seats. Shows, this is a side profile of what we were doing with the listing straps and the bottom of the seat, hooking it to the wire on the bottom. All very detailed little information and some little things you may not think about, and also some Fieros have speakers in the headrest, so what to do with that. Ours didn't, so we don't have to worry about that. But it's still a 8-page guide on how this all works. And if that doesn't do it for you, then there's a fancy DVD that'll have, I actually haven't put it in the computer, but I assume it's basically the same thing as the video on YouTube, and probably has a copy of that on it too.
All right. Oh gosh, water's good. All right, so here's where we go. Here we got the seat now. Now, when we took the cover off of it, if you watch his video on YouTube, he tells you, and on his instructions there, he tells you to cut these particular pieces of foam out of the old upholstery piece, and you're going to reuse them here. Remember how you got the pieces, he sent you those pieces and you glued them down there? Well, you're cutting them out of there and you're going to glue them down here. And that's the way it goes. So this one's going to go here. Nope. You want to load the picture? Look at the picture. Pull up. Make sure. Because I thought it was this way.
The other one, the lumbar one.
I was real sure that the piece has the cutouts going up. The thinner area was up.
Yeah.
That's the thinner area right here. See? Even though it's...
Oh, I guess the curve.
Yeah, the curve that messed me up too when I first saw it. See, as you can tell, unrehearsed. So anyhow, so we got these, and we're going to spray them on there. So we're going to get spray glue, spray it on there, put those on. Why don't you go ahead and I'll let you do the spray glue on those. Shake it up pretty good. And it sprays a pretty wide pattern, like 4 or 5 inches if you're like 4 or 5 inches away. So yeah, take it off. Don't, yeah. Remember, the only reason why you're putting this stuff on is to hold it in place until the interior gets hoggering down, because the hoggering will hold it. All right, you got the oh, you got to go on top of it. Be careful with that, because that'll make it hard to hoggering. Yeah, that piece was all curved up like that when I took it out of the old back piece. I don't know why it was so terrible, but yeah, make sure you leave that exposed, and that's about it. This thing, 6 moments ago you couldn't spell upholsterer. Now you are one. All right, so here we got these done. These are all glued in. That's all you got to do with that. That's the hard part.
We're not using a spray foam on carpet.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
The hardest part about this, about doing the backs, is the gymnastics you have to do to stretch everything over. It is not easy. Now, one thing that Mr. Mike does do is he sprays these things down with silicone before he ships them out. And I would hate to imagine how difficult it would be if he didn't, because it is not easy, even with the silicone on there. So, a couple other things I want to do to this one. This one has a hole in it. This was, like I said, this is the driver's side back. So this arm here always is getting beat up in this car. That's just, any car actually. So what I actually did is I went and cut a couple extra pieces of foam. You can actually see right, I might be able to see it, but right here, the metal is poking through. So I'm pulling it up, and I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to trim it a little bit. And then I'm going to end up gluing it I'm going to put this here. I'm going to glue these down to try and help build this up so it's more the height of the other one, because it's been worn down, and to cover up this area here where the metal ring is coming through. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm just hoping it works well. I haven't talked to anybody about doing that. Stay on the back. Glue's getting sprayed.
Glue always reminds me of, like when like the first Spider-Man movies came out, they had the like web shooters like that because it goes everywhere.
Spider-Man web shooter stuff, man. You're right, I see it now. I didn't notice that before. It does shoot like a silly string. Anyhow, so we're going to go on here. Lovely. So I think that'll, because this foam has a very hard cloth webbing on the back of it, so that should protect it pretty well from the metal poking through and damaging our new interior. And it should fill it up. It looks pretty close to the same height.
Yeah.
When we pull it down and wrestle it for the next 30 minutes, you will you'll know how it's going to look like. Because I think it'll come out pretty good. It'll pull all this, should pull this all nice and smooth. All right. First thing you're going to do is obviously you got to make sure you go the front on the front. Yeah, don't ask me why that's like that. It does look like that, doesn't it? And then you got to pull the cover for the headrest over. And it's best to do that standing it up on the ground. So Chris, you want to put that on the ground for me? And put the front of it toward you. Yeah. All right. Let's turn this so they can see me wrestle with it. All right. So again, make sure you get the front toward the front and the back toward the back. And then you're going to grab a hold of this, open it up. And it may not look like much, but believe me, I'm pulling hard on this. Okay, let's go back on the table. Now, oh yeah, we're gonna have to do something on there. We got to bring it down a little bit first. We got to check the shoulders. So we're gonna roll this on down. Works really good to get on the inside here and work it. Now, what you want to also do while you're doing this is make sure that everything is lining up. These seams here should be lining up pretty darn good with that, okay? These two little ones here are just like in the other one. You're going to end up putting 2 of these rods through. Holes are up in here. Just like the bottoms, these are a whole lot easier. So, but we're going to go ahead and pull this on down some more because we want to get a good look at the shoulders in here and see how much help they are going to need. Actually, shoulders don't look too bad.
Yeah.
We just got to put some. I don't know why, but I don't know. You probably see it when it was laying down on the ground. This thing looks like it had a rope or tied around it. It didn't have any of that when I took the thing apart. I don't know how it's got this weird crease in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this lovely cotton pattern, and we're going to fill this out so it looks good again. Now, also you got to keep in mind while you're looking at this that you haven't hog ringed this top seam yet, and you're going to hog ring that, and that will make things look a little different when you do that. So you don't want to over bolster it. I just want to come in here, and you can feel divots on the old foam. So I am going to go and I'm going to reach up in there, and I'm going to try to fill those divots with some of the cotton. And pray. Alrighty. Let's see what this does. So we've got a little bit of the cotton. Christopher has now become my cotton boy. That came out wrong. So again, the whole idea is to try to lay the cotton out flat. I can actually feel those divots on the inside when I stick my hand up in there. Better.
They're really deep.
They are deep. They're a good half-inch deep almost. Pulled down, it's going to get pulled down quite a bit. Oh, yeah, guess so. Wow, those are even worse in the back. Crap. Wad it up too bad, you can't unwad it. Turn my fan back on because it's hot. Miss. Okay, I did not have to do this to the other seat. I have no idea why this looks like this. If anybody does understand what happened, tell me. I'll be reading the comments later on. Yeah, I know, but you gotta get this thing pulled down. Hold it up right for me. Nice. Looks good. I like this. I'm still going to fix it up there because it does actually help a bit. Alright, so we're going to pull this back up again without disturbing the headrest. now I have exposed where this set of hog rings go. Now, you want to look at this, and if your seat has the emblem in it like ours does, go by the middle of it. If you don't, try to find a seam you can eyeball, and look at all the seams before you do this. And you want to make sure that all these seams are in the middle, and they're lined up with where they want to go, because otherwise you got to take it all apart again. And trust me, you don't want it. The nice thing is if you pull this down far enough and right, this lines up real nicely with where you gotta look it. I'm not used to having a hog ring boy. Alright. So again, we're gonna put one in the middle and one down each end. That's all he says to do. That's all I'm doing. Again, don't need to kill a hog ring. It's got plenty of tension on it, and it's holding itself. So, what I do is I go through the piece on the seat cover first, and then I will push down and reach under to grab the piece on the wire on the seat. It works for me that way. I don't know if it'll work best for you. I've seen Mike, I think, does it the other way. So that's the way it is. All right, so I'm gonna bolster these seats a little, these shoulders a little bit with a little more of the Colton Batson, these long, slender pieces like 10, 11 inches long, 2 inches wide, kind of, yeah, like Santa Claus. Okay, so we're going to take this, we're going to push it on up and over the shoulder, and all the way around onto the back, so it gives you a little bit more of the shoulder. You know, like women wear the shirts that got shoulder pads. Well, you're doing the same thing here. You're giving it shoulder pads. What? What? They still sell shirts like that. Yes, I am.
Because it's a vintage style.
Someone please straighten him out. If I do it, he won't make it till tomorrow. All right, so again, we're going to reach it up here. Bring this on around. Okay. All right, so now we're back to the roll it down. So we're going to reach into the top. And you reach in through here, you kind of roll it, you want to make sure everything's going on straight, watch your seams. So you're going to bring it down to where your second cross member goes across for hog ringing. I know I've gone a little bit beyond that, but I want to take this and I'm going to pull it down nice and snug. Lay it back, roll it back a little. Here is our thing. I had a German teacher when I was doing Porsches, and he told me, if you are comfortable while doing it, you're probably not doing it right. So, this is not comfortable. at all. Okay, so again, one in the center, one on each end. It doesn't have to be all the way at the end. Again, with me, I hook the top piece first, then I hook the bottom, and then I make them say hello. Yeah, it's getting late. I'm tired. Gotta get a little weird. Yet, I'm going to get weird. I am not weird yet. Okay, got those done. Now, while you can see it, get the batten. If you've got any coming down into the lower part of the seat crevice, get it out of the way, because you need to be able to get to these holes and put the rods through. And they are ambidextrous, so it doesn't matter which side you put it in. So, now, we roll it down the rest of the way. Where the hell were you this morning when I was doing the other one? You're going to reach up under here, make sure this stuff gets rolled back. Just going to need some more battening in here. So give me yeah, the whole pile there. I'm thinking we're going to probably end up taking. So at this point, I'm trying to make the back look full. See? Comes up now, looks nice. And you can't see anything on there. So I like that. That's good, that works. You see how nice your shoulders come out now? A little bit even sharper. Pull these things down. You want to get a hold here. And you want to pull this. A lot of pulling on this. Okay, so now the little things are start about 4 inches back. Oh. And you get in here. You work it through. You reach your hand up in here. And again, you want to find out where that hole is. Bone was blocking. Like, there it is. Okay. So, once you get it through the other end, there we go. You are then going to take it with your lovely hand up here, and you are going to have to guide it down that hole. Once you get it there, you'll know, because as soon as you pull up, you pull the thing down, the whole side comes down. You'll know it's in there. All right, you won't have any doubt upon that. So again, I'm going to do both sides first before I hog ring down, because when you tighten up this side, it just makes it harder, and Well, I have meat hooks for hands, so I need all the clearance I can get. So if you are a small-handed individual, then you might be able to do it the other way. I, however, am not. Okay. Okay. Now, what you're going to see under here when you pull everything out and you get a good look at what's going on in here is that you have you can see where it was laying, and you can see where the old piece was hooked through. And that's what you want to hook to. You want to go back to that. So you grab the top, down to the bottom. It's in there. Make sure it's in there. If you don't feel comfortable with just one hog ring, put two. There's plenty of room.
I did a bad job cleaning this one out.
Still has the remnants from the old hog rings in here, so bear with me. Okay. Little driveway. So then, again, hook in. Pull down. Squeeze it. Up on it. If you have done this right, it will stay down. All right. Much more lumbar pulse than that one does. Okay, now again, the piece of foam that came out of the back of this seat and the piece of foam that came out of the passenger side seat, wildly different, okay? However, I think it's going to work out for the best. The one that's on the driver's seat was far thicker. And the reason why I think it's going to work out for the best is that's going to give a lot more stiffness in the lumbar area. And since you're driving it, more people drive it longer, than anything else. You're going to want better support, and I think it's going to work out best that way. So at this point, we're ready to wrap it around the back. All right. Now the way the old Fiero seats were zippered together. Is it better? I don't know. Is it worse? I don't know. Depends upon what you believe in. So I don't know. But regardless of all that, hold that down up top up there. I'm going to pull like mad on this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So Mr. Mike says he doesn't like zippers, and he's probably correct. I mean, he's a professional at it. I'm not, and I'm not. Even when I did this stuff, or I was doing this stuff, it wasn't like I did it every day for a living. He does. So I will definitely bow to his better judgment. You got one ready for me? Okay, so if you watch this video, he tells you there's a little triangle, a little carrot cut in the back, and a little carrot cut in the front. So what I did, because I cheat, I'm lazy sometimes, is I actually put a little mark where that carrot was on the front side, so I can more easily line them up. Okay, just a little bit, it doesn't take much. And all you're going to do is you're going to line them up, and you're going to put a hog ring right there. Again, don't kill the hog rings. So now I have a really nice seam here, and Mr. Mike says it should be 3 inches. On the other one over there, it was really tight, so I went actually about every 2 inches. On this one's not quite as tight as that one. I'm going to go every 3 inches, just like he said, and there'll be a center one, and then 3, and the center and 3. So there'll be 7 total across the bottom. Okay. And if you've done this right, children, it should all line up and meet up nicely and look like you meant to do it that way. Remember, you're clipping the, what do we call it? Not the listing cord. Okay, the welt cord, which in this case is called a listing strap, since we're pulling it, I guess. Yeah. So make sure you're just going through the welt cord. You're not, this little tab here, you're pulling up out of the way, and that's gonna cover your hog rings at the end of the day. Okay. Okay. Well, we've done the top and the bottom now. Let's go ahead and patch them up. Won't take too long to do that. So let's get them over here. Give me the half inch in that gun. Obviously, the first thing you do, take out the screws. Okay. Oh, this is actually not too bad. You can actually do this by yourself fairly easily. The screws are quite long, so you can use them to start to guide it roughly into its position. And then don't tighten it down the first thing, just give it a little buzz so it definitely isn't going to come out on you. And the other one, okay, now again, we've taken the passenger side bottom and put it on the driver's side. So there's a washer that goes in between the metal portion and the leather on your seat. that in there, and the torque bit here is a 45 or 50. 45 that I got here using on this one, and it's shouldered, and it shoulders out against the washer, so you can't over tighten it onto the backrest, and you just tighten it down. So I didn't tighten the other side up all the way. So now I'm going to do that. There we have it. One completed. Oh, don't tell me this. Oh, it says up. I'm sorry, it was up. So we have it, one completed seat. Now, you'll have to work. You know, you work these things and you get all those little wrinkles out of them. They'll come out by pulling on it, pushing on it. But also, what Mike tells me is that what happens is after a few days, a couple of weeks or so, sitting in your hot car, you know, everything will tighten up. So it should all, you know, it's going to look a little wrinkled at first, you know, and you got to pull the big ones out, but the rest of them should come out as it sits in your car. So again, if you have questions, let us know. Shoot us some through our page. I guess that's about it. I'm Mike, and this is Chris. Chris is the face you usually see. Since I had already built the one and he hadn't, that's why I took this over. Otherwise, Chris would have been doing all the talking and letting you know all the ins and outs of this. So, happy Fieroing. If you need seats redone, I'm telling you, I have not seen kits put together like what Mr. Mike's Upholstery does. It's really nice stuff. A bargain at the price, I really believe. They're not cheap, but I think they're worth every penny. They really are super nice. They're leather, and it's, you know, it's going to last. It'll last, you know, the next 30 years if this young man owns the car that these are going in. So we are going to put these in the car tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon we take off and head to Miami. In Miami, we are going to be at the Hot Wheels Legends Tour. What this is Hot Wheels, you know, the little Hot Wheels cars? Well, they have taken a bunch of their cars and they've made full-size versions of it. You know, like the Twin Mill, California Surfer, those kind of cars. They've made full-size versions of these cars. And they're traveling these cars all around the U.S. Well, we got lucky enough.
50 years, if I remember correctly.
That's right. It's a celebration for their 50th year of making Hot Wheels. So that's what it's for. So we're lucky enough, Christopher was lucky enough, that they chose him to come down and show his Fiero with their cars. We are the only person in this area of the state that got chosen. I don't know a total of how many cars got chosen to show, but I understand it's not a whole lot. So it's a big honor for us, and we are greatly honored.
The other ones, it seems like about 100 per show.
About 100 cars?
Yeah.
So, you know, and there were...
That's drawing from Louisiana, Georgia, that's...
Yeah, we do know that people are coming down from Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. They're bringing cars down to this. This is the biggest show we've done. It's a super honor.
Stepping up our game.
Yeah, we are so honored that Mattel gave us this opportunity. It's, you know, the car is a daily driver, so it's not a perfect show car, but it is a nice car. It is a really, really clean, all original car. So anyhow, We will be doing live feeds from the show Saturday, so keep an eye on our page. Christopher will be doing a lot of talking there. I'll probably be doing some of it too. And we're going to try to show everything we can out there so you guys can get a good view of what's happening. Anything final words, Chris?
Not really.
Not really?
I mean, we're going to be posting stuff on the Facebook and also on the Instagram. So keep an eye on both. Either one, doesn't matter.
So keep smiling. Drive your Fieros. That's what they're for. And you guys have a great night, and we'll talk to you later.